Hi, I'm Jimmy. Welcome to episode 5 of my sub 3 hour marathon build. Today's episode will go through my training, but it's also the week of my first 10K race. So make sure you stick around to the end for the race debrief, because I think there are some lessons there that we can all learn from.
24, staring in your face like it's the front of the door. I know right now it's hard, cause this all feels like a chore. I don't want this as a job, help me find something more. I cannot tell the ceiling from the floor. Is this really what you want? Swear I never meant to hunt. All I ever do is talk, couldn't handle how you flaunt. Now it's quiet on the front, has been for so many months. Now it's wild to remember I was in love with you once. It's all love now.
Well, it's Monday morning, which means it's session day. The plan today is to do 3 8.5-minute intervals at my critical power, so right at the top of threshold / bottom of VO2 max. This is my least favorite workout, probably because I think it's my weak spot. I just find it really tough to maintain this effort for that length of time. So it's going to be a good one. I've done my warm-up, done my drills, so time to change shoes and get into it really. Well, first rep done. That felt pretty good. It was hard, but I think it was a lot easier than last time I did it. So I'll be interested to compare the numbers between this workout and the last time I did it. So it felt good. I really need to come up with a plan for controlling myself on the weekend with food. So during the week, I'm really strict, really good with the diet. But on the weekend, I don't know, something just clicks in my brain. Like when we have some sort of dessert or something I love, I just lose the plot and go absolutely berserk. So I think a couple of videos ago I mentioned that I was starting a new Sunday tradition where we all sit around by the fire pit, cook some awesome food and just have a great family time. That's great, but I need to come up with a plan for controlling myself with food, because last night my daughter made an apple pie, I made burgers. It was awesome, but man, I went to town and I'm paying for it today. And you know, it's not just about being clean with the diet, it's because I've got Crohn's disease as well, so there are other issues. I was eating foods last night that I shouldn't have been. So I need to come up with a way of controlling myself there. But it was an awesome time. Second rep, here we go.
Is this really what you want? Swear I never meant to hunt. All I ever do is talk, couldn't handle how you flaunt. Now it's quiet on the front, has been for so many months. Now it's wild to remember I was in love with you once. It's all love
Second rep done. That was good. Even though that workout's getting easier, it does make me wonder about Sunday with this 10K race. Because in theory, I should be able to go a little bit faster than that without any breaks for 10K on Sunday. But man, doesn't feel like I can do that now. But I'm always amazed at what we find on race day. Like I always think that I look at my plan and think, nah, there's no way, but I don't know. The body just often shows up on race day, I guess with the adrenaline, all that stuff. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. One more rep to go.
God is looking for the one. Merch is going by right now that we've all had our run. It's all love now. Upside down. It's all love.
Well, just coming back from dropping my daughters at school. My son's sick today, so I get to stay home to look after him, which is nice for me, not so nice for him. But the session this morning was really good. It was hard, but it felt easier than the last time I did it. But unfortunately today I skipped my cool down because my knee was really sore after the workout. And I'm wondering if it's the shoes actually, because after the long run on Saturday, no problems whatsoever, and I felt really good this morning. And I'm just wondering if it's those shoes, because last time the knee pain got really bad, it was after I wore those same shoes. They do feel a little bit weird underfoot, and just on my left foot, and I've got the pain on my left knee. So I'm wondering if it's as much to do with the shoes as anything else. I also forgot to wear my compression bandage this morning. I don't think that would have had that much of an impact though. I don't know. So I'll ice up the knee and we'll see how we go. And yeah, just reflecting on that workout, as I said after some of the reps, it did feel good, it did go well, but I have a hard time believing that I can hold that pace for an entire 10K race on Sunday. It felt good, but it just felt hard. And even with those breaks, so I had a 3-minute recovery period in between intervals this morning. So even with those recovery intervals, it still felt tough. And so I wonder about Sunday. As I say, I've never raced a 10K before, so it really is a bit of an unknown. But I'm going to go out at probably the same power and just see what happens. Hopefully I can hang on. So as I said, I averaged 355 this morning in the workout. So if I can hold a similar pace on Sunday, that'll get me comfortably sub 40. I think that's about a 39:10 or somewhere around there. So I'd love to go under 40 minutes on Sunday, but we'll just have to see how we go.
Well, today's a little bit different. Because of the 10K race on Sunday, I've had to change my week around a bit. So today's Wednesday, and I'm just off on my long run, which is interesting. Doing 30Ks before work on a Wednesday morning. 3:45 a.m. alarm call, so that's different. But I'm a bit nervous about this one. Hoping my knee holds up, because this loop takes me pretty far from home. I mean, I brought my phone with me, but I don't think my wife will wake up to pick me up if I need her to. But hopefully my knee will be fine and I'll get back in time for work and all that. I've got my head torch with me because this route gets really dark when I go along by the river. So the plan is about 30Ks total, 10-minute warm-up, an hour in zone 2, half an hour at my current marathon pace, 25 minutes at my goal marathon pace, and then 10-minute cool down. So yeah, let's get into it.
Winter's chill has disappeared. Let go of everything you fear. Meet me down behind the tree, past the mill and up the street. Darling,
well, that's the long run done. Knee was absolutely fine, which is great. Didn't have to call my wife to come and get me. I definitely felt a bit tired, more so in the muscles, and I think that's because normally I have 2 full days of recovery after my harder session before my long run, whereas this time I only had 1 day, and I think it's probably more from the big weight session than anything else. So that's good to know that I do need those 2 full days of recovery, but it's really good to do these workouts on fatigued legs because I'm training for a marathon. So it was great to do a tough workout on tired legs, get it done. Everything was within my targets. Yeah, uneventful, really good. So now I've got to go to work.
all your fears and dreams. No, we shouldn't stay too long. We father wouldn't think too much of a blacksmith's son. Winter's chill has disappeared. You're the only one that's ever kept me here. You're the only one that's ever.
Well, it's the morning of the 10K race. Just on my warm-up, feeling a bit nervous. I've decided just to send it this morning, so I'm going to try and hold 350 watts rather than play it safe. And the reason for that is the Stride race predictor is actually really accurate, and it's actually been 12 weeks since my last valid fitness test because I've been sick for the last 2. So if anything, that estimate of what I should do, or what I could do, should be a little bit underestimated rather than over. So if I can hold 350 watts, that'll be somewhere around 348 per K, which is terrifying. So I may well blow up, but you know what? We're just gonna give it a go. And I think the reason I'm a little bit nervous about today is just because I want it to go well, so it's a confidence boost. I mean, we're still just under 10 weeks out from the marathon, but I'd love for after today for me to look at my performance and think, wow, we are on for sub 3. That's the ideal scenario. But the main goal isn't a time, it's just to get a good fitness test in, see where I'm at, try and enjoy it. I say enjoy it, but it's not enjoyable, is it? I'm going to be in a world of pain soon. But hopefully I can hang on. The race itself is tiny. There's no podium, prize money or medals. It's just for a small local club. So yeah, finish the warm-up, try and hang on for dear life, and I'll see you on the other side. That's the race done. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, only in the sense that I don't think it was an all-out effort. I think I still had some to give, but really good in the sense that I averaged 351 watts, which is great going into it. I thought there's no way I can do that, but yeah, I wasn't suffering as much as I should have been. Definitely didn't empty the tank, which is a shame. And I think that's for two reasons. Firstly, I've been telling myself all week, there's no way I can hold 350 watts. So that kind of messes with your head. But secondly, I misjudged it. I thought there was still 2Ks left at the end. And that's because of the way I had it set up on my watch. I just had 2K splits and lost track of them. So the actual time wasn't great. I think it was around 39:40 for the 10K, and that's because it was actually pretty hilly. There were some big hills in some spots, but I don't really care about the time. It was the average power I was looking for. So yeah, good and bad, happy, but also a bit disappointed I didn't push harder. This coming week I've got a series of time trials. So today was the first one. On Wednesday or Tuesday I'll do a 3-minute time trial, and then on Saturday I'll do a 10-minute time trial. So these will be really good for gauging fitness, see how I'm tracking, and to readjust my training zones to make sure I'm in the right intensity, and hopefully my critical power will go up, and there'll be more reassurance that I'm on track for sub 3. I'm back from the race now, and I've had a bit more of a chance to reflect on the race and how it went. And I shouldn't be too disappointed. I am disappointed from the point of view of I set out to do an all-out effort, and I didn't do that. I still had quite a bit left in the tank. So at the end there, I wasn't anywhere near my max heart rate. As I crossed the finish line, my heart rate was 173. My max is about 178. And unfortunately, my heart rate monitor was playing up during the run, which is annoying. But there was the middle 6 kilometers, it was solid. And my average there was 165 beats per minute, which, you know, it's okay, I'm working, but it's only just above my threshold zone. So I could certainly have, and also how it felt. Like my final K I ran in
3 minutes 35, which is quick. You know, that's not good race execution. But I shouldn't be so hard on myself. That was my first 10K I've ever raced. So I had nothing to gauge it against. I didn't know how I was meant to be feeling at different points. And I kind of got a bit lost. Like I took some wrong turns. There was lots of, so it's okay. So I'm disappointed from the point of view that I went out to do an all-out effort and it wasn't all out. But everything else was a plus. I mentioned in my warm-up that one of my goals was just to have a bit of a confidence boost. And this should absolutely be a confidence boost. To hold 351 watts for 10K and for it to be as comfortable as it was, because I wasn't in pain at all, really. Yeah, it was hard, but, you know, even at the end, I did an extended cool down just to try and get more Ks in my legs. And my legs felt fine. Like I could have gone for hours. I could have done a long run then. So definitely had more in the tank. So that's really good to hold that power, which all week I'd been saying I couldn't do, and to do it so comfortably is really good. And, you know, I've still got 10 weeks to go to the marathon. So I'm in good shape now and things are looking good. The other really positive thing, I think, were the lessons to learn. So race experience, I've now got a 10K race under my belt. So next time, I think I'll be able to execute a much better race and hopefully approach more of a maximal effort. But also, I've learned I've got to stop doubting myself. I've got to start believing. Like all week, I've been telling myself, there's no way I can hold 350 watts. And that was based on data which was very old. So one of the great things about, I'm still a beginner runner. I've only been running for 15 months, which, you know, isn't long at all. And prior to that, I had 0 run experience. So I really am a beginner and I'm still experiencing beginner gains, which is kind of what makes it so much fun. I see noticeable fitness improvements every single week. So for me to be like that, fear was grounded on it was grounded in the last fitness test that I did. So the last fitness test I did was 12 weeks ago, and that was an all-out 5K, and I averaged 355 watts over that 5K, and I was spent at the end. Like I was completely cooked. That one really was an all-out effort. I couldn't talk at the end. I didn't know what day of the week it was. And so in my mind, I was thinking, okay, well, that was 355 watts. How am I going to do just 5 watts less than that for twice the distance? But that was 12 weeks ago. I'm seeing fitness gains every single week. And these double threshold sessions I've been doing, they've been having a massive impact. I've been training at around this threshold 10K area. And so what am I doing thinking back 12 weeks? That's just crazy. I've got to get out of my own head. And even basing it on training, you've seen in this video that on the Monday, I did that threshold session, or the near threshold session, and found that quite hard, even though I was only running at 340 watts. But that's training. I've got to remember, we peak during races. We don't peak in training. Now, I have no idea how that works, actually. So I don't know how it's possible for me to do shorter intervals, so 8.5 minute intervals at 340 watts, and to find that harder than doing 350 watts for a whole 10K today. I don't know how that works. I mean, normally I'd say, well, there's the taper, but I haven't tapered. I came into this race with 95 Ks in the legs, which, you know, isn't huge, but it's not nothing. I don't understand how that works, but I do know that every single race, every time, I surprise myself in how much I exceed what I thought I could do. So I've got to stop doubting myself and start believing. Get out of your head, Jimmy. Stop basing your approach to a race on old data or how you felt during training. Training is training. It's different. We're not meant to peak during training. We peak during the race. So really valuable lessons to learn there. And again, going back to the confidence boost, based on how today went, I really think that I'm capable of 37 high or definitely 38 low in the 10K, which is really great. So I've still got about 10 weeks till the marathon. To be in that kind of shape now, we are on. We are on for Sub-3, and I've got to start believing that. And as we approach October 6th, I can't be on that start line thinking, psyching myself out based on training sessions from weeks ago. I've got to trust the process. Training is training and racing is racing. We always show up on race day. I always exceed expectations. Get out of your head, Jimmy. Marathon training is so fun. You know, the last one, well, the first one I did was my first one. And this is very different because back then I had nothing to base it on. My goal was pretty much just to finish. Yeah, I had some rough time targets, but really it was my first one. My goal was just to finish. Whereas this time, with such a definite time goal, and one which is really high, like I set the bar high, to knock 19 minutes off my previous PB in a few months, that's a tall order, but this is really fun. I'm enjoying the pressure. I'm enjoying working towards something concrete and definite, but I've got to get out of my head and stop doubting myself because it's happening. My fitness is increasing every single week. What I'm doing is working. And I know that if over the next few weeks, I can get some really solid training in with no interruptions, no illnesses, no injuries, I think my fitness is actually going to increase exponentially. As I ramp up the mileage, I know that my body responds well to that. And so far it's been a bit frustrating because with all the minor issues I've been having, I haven't been able to ramp up the mileage as much as possible. But I think I'm on top of all that now. So once I ramp up the mileage, continue these double threshold sessions, I really think that about 4 weeks out from the marathon, I'm going to see a big leap up in my fitness. And this is really exciting. So join me on the journey, please, because I'm having fun. Hopefully you're having fun. I'll see you next week.